A role model for me is someone that leads, someone that has a lot of courage and is brave and just enjoys what they do.
For you?
So I think for me, it's different. It's actually different outside of football and sport, and then in real life. So I think they're two completely different things. But in the sport world, I think for me, a role model is someone that just puts in 100% effort. You know, they've not always been given, an easy hand, or things haven't always fell in their lap easily. They've worked for what they've got and what they've achieved. And definitely someone that is there to pick others up and be a leader, but be a good leader. You know, not put others down, but just bring everyone together and just try the hardest and show that if you want something and you put the work in, then you can achieve anything. So that's what a role model would be to me in football.
Yeah, so someone that can inspire to push you to achieve what you want to achieve, and you can look up to them for you to follow them in like their footsteps of what they've done.
Céline Demerck, she's a French basketball player. She's successful for sure, I think it helped. But I think it's more to do with how she's playing, her attitude, the way she can connect with people and be selfless on court.
In sports area, I would probably say Serena Williams. I just really like her as a tennis player, and I think she embraces the sport really well and just gives a lot of children really good core courage and stands up for what she believes in.
So my role model is Alex Scott, who used to play for Arsenal, captain for Arsenal ladies. She was actually one of the main reasons why I got into playing football myself. It was definitely seeing a lack of female role models within football that made me become interested in the sport. I'm an Arsenal fan anyway, so I've followed them since I was about 6 or 7 years old, and seeing Alex Scott play and what she achieved and just being a leader on the pitch, on and off actually, is what inspired me to get into it. So I'd definitely say Alex Scott is my role model.
So my role model is Puyol. Okay, he's a very successful man in football. He was a very good defender. He was playing centre back. I play centre back as well, and he could really read the game very well. And I would like to be like him in the future.
So for me, it's Lucy Bronze. She's England defender, wing back, and she plays for OL. For me, I think the reason she's that much of a role model for me is that's my position. I'm a defender. And seeing her go up against Alex Scott to get the position when she retired, she had to pursue it, persevere, get better at it. So for me, Lucy Bronze.
My role model would be Lois Forsell. She used to play at East Leagues when she was younger, but she had to leave when she was 12 because you're not allowed to play with boys older than 12, and she's made it into playing for England and Leeds Rhinos women.
She's the Leeds Rhinos female captain for Leeds Rhinos. Because she's really inspiring and she's helped me through a lot recently.
Probably Lois Forsell. I've known her since I was quite young, and she's like a professional rugby player for Leeds, so that's like what I aspire to be when I'm older, and she influenced me to start playing.
My role model would be Ryan Hall, as he is a large asset to the rugby community, especially in Leeds, and he is a very well physique player as well as technical.
I think it's just to do with society. Usually men just have more place. Could it be like just sports or politics, anywhere? So I think media show more men than women, so it's harder to find role models in women than men.
I think it's unfair. I think gender in sports should be something that is equal in all areas, whether that's pay or court time or whatever really. I think we're only just now getting to the point where we're really accepting female role models in sports people, so I think we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet.
I think it's probably more to do with like the kind of like how much kind of screen time they get. I feel like women's sport doesn't get as much as male, like within like basketball and football, so it's probably probably more to do with that than actually, you know, their like performance-wise.
I think there's too much attention to the gender. I think both men and female athletes push themselves, and for an individual, it's whoever they see. And I think part of the reason you get the male role model more than the female role model is just because in terms of visuality, they are more visual in society, they're more advertised. And so I think that's why you see more male role models in younger children. But I personally don't think it should matter, because in both situations, they're pushing through something.
Yeah, so I think for me personally, when it comes to the difference between the male role models and the female role models, it's never been something that I've thought about as much as other people actually. I think sometimes you know, people can actively push for the female role model in the sport. For me personally, I think it's just natural progression. I think male role models, you know, it is who people looked up to and aspired to, because it is mainly males that were in the sport. But I think just natural progression and the century we're living in and the age group, how it's more widely accepted for females to not only be professional athletes and sportswomen, but also to make a living doing this as well. It just gives girls, especially young girls, that opportunity to actually look towards females, because they're seen more regularly, you know, on the TV, on the radio, on podcasts. It just gives them the opportunity to find out more about female athletes and for them to be their role models. So, as I say, I don't think for me it's a case of you know, it was a male-dominated world because women necessarily weren't given the opportunities within the sport and the game, because I think that's always been there, but it just hasn't been covered as much. So I think it's really important what's happening now. You know, that women are, they are leaders, and they are being shown on the TV, as I say, on Sky, with Alex Scott being a presenter and all the other female co-hosts. It just gives the young girls a chance to finally have a female role model within the sport. So yeah.
I think it's to be expected given the media attention on the male game. I think for a lot of female footballers, they're going to have role models that are female as well as male, given the attention that it's got in the media. I think times are changing given the mainstream media picking up on the women's game. So the likes of the FA Cup final at the weekend for the women, it was on BBC. So for me, I think times are changing.
Obviously it's quite unfortunate, but you hear more of males playing sports than women do, but now it's women's sports is on the up. It's better because more girls are going to have more female role models to look up to rather than having males to look up to.
I feel like now the female sport's growing, there'll be a lot more female role models to like come out, but I think there's always going to be a lot more male role models because there's more male orientated sports.
For me, I think it's just putting out a positive message out there. So, for example, you've seen Alex Scott moving from the game into the mainstream media with the presenting. She's literally doing anything. FA People's Cup, she's presenting. And it's just having that positive message that she's giving. So she's pushing for women to go into the game. She's such an advocate for the sport as well. But she also promotes the male game as well. So it's not just segregating the women from the men, it's pulling them both together. So for me, that's what makes a good role model.
Someone who takes pride in like the sport that they do and how they like present themselves when they're speaking to young people, things like that.
If that person is constantly achieving and constantly making someone want to be the best, then that would be a role model.
Yeah, she does a lot of work for the girls. She comes down to train age groups and girls to try get more of them involved in the sport and try to make the sport grow a lot more.
Yeah, I've been watching her play for a while and she's just really good at rugby and she's just inspired me to play rugby even more.
Yeah, when I first started playing, Lois was the one that got me involved through school, and then she told me that there's a few teams that I could join, so that's what I did.
Yeah, because previously I didn't really have an interest in rugby, but when he came into my school to do a taster session, he encouraged me to achieve goals in that sport, so I set my mind to it.